Hi, Booktube, and welcome to an overdue coffee break video. If you missed the last one, you could be wondering right now, how exactly does somebody do a non-haul? Okay, so wind back the clock to end of October 2023 when I decided to take on the Read What You Own challenge. I'm committing myself not to buy any books, but to just read what I already own until the end of October 2024. But in the meantime, I'm still watching loads of Booktube content. I'm getting to know the books that you love, and in particular in December, when a lot of creators were putting out their best of 2023 wrap-ups, to keep myself from temptation and also thanking these creators, because people are sitting down like me and getting ready and editing and filming and all that stuff. I started a special Amazon wish list, and it's just books that I want to buy once the challenge is over. And so these non-hauls, I'm just going to talk about a few of the titles that I did not buy, but I intend to do just as soon as this challenge is over, and I heard about them in December. Okay, first book is How to Read a Book, The Classic Guide to Intelligent Reading by Mortimer J. Adler. Now, I discovered a new Booktube creator who introduced me to this title, Re-Education of the Mind. And when I say new, I mean she's new to Booktube as well as just new to me. One of her reasons for starting the channel was a desire to share her own re-education journey, and that attracted me immediately. I'm always really attracted to people who are looking to learn to change their thinking or their ideas. And if she doesn't mind, I think she deserves this quote by Mortimer Adler himself when he said, "The good teacher is a person who is themselves dedicated to continued general learning." And I subscribed to this channel because I was pretty sure I was going to learn from it. This book by Mortimer Adler was the first one that she reviewed. Adler was an American philosopher, an educator, and this book came out in 1940. And it describes 4 different reading techniques, which immediately made sense to me because I think not every book can be approached or read in the same way. In fact, I remember Bookish Texan made a video where he asked everybody the question, what do you read for? And honestly, it's taken me some time to figure out how I would answer that question. But I think now I would say that I read in order to find out what kind of text I'm dealing with, what is the best way to approach it and get the most out of it, what exactly has it got to offer, if that makes sense. I'm hoping Adler's work is going to show me something about reading that I haven't before realized. Next book is The Parisian by Isabella Hamad. Britta Boland reviewed this book. She was another December discovery for me. She is a German writer who writes in English, I believe, and mostly reads in English. I picked her for her presentation style. It is professional, direct, and yet also friendly. She seems to choose her books really thoughtfully and is looking for quality of content as well as a diversified reading experience. She read The Parisian in response to the Read Palestine hashtag. This is a 2019 debut novel by Hamad. She's a Palestinian writer, and the story is set in 1914, which is the time when the whole of Middle East was really part of the old Ottoman Empire. The current conflict in the Middle East, I don't mention it because watching it has made me realize yet again how sparse my historical knowledge is, how little I really understand all the complications and so on. And okay, this book is fiction, but the impression I got from reading other reviews as well as listening to Britta was that this might give me some bare bones structure, something that I can build on by picking and reading other authors. The next book is Speak by Laurie Halse Anderson. This was a recommendation from Ashley at Bookish Realm. I've been a subscriber to Ashley's channel for at least a year, and she's mentioned this title more than once because it examines the issue of violence against women and the importance of speaking out. And also she's noted just how often, sadly, this book appears on lists of titles that right-leaning special interest groups in America want to have banned. It's interesting, as I was writing this script, I was also finishing Orlando Fige's Cultural History of Russia, and he devotes an entire chapter to the Soviet attempts to control art and artists during the 1930s and the 1940s, and how, in spite having terrifying power to block publication, to discredit artists, to imprison artists, it failed to defeat the love and the fondness and the memory that its own citizens had for any creative work that they recognized was important or beautiful. And so thank you very much, Ashley, for just keeping this book visible, keeping people aware, and for recommending the title, because it's a must-read now on my Amazon wish list. Next book is Parable of the Sower by Octavia E. Butler. Ariana at The Meditative Reader introduced me to Octavia Butler. She first read Parable of the Sower in 2020, and she went back to it in 2023. She mentioned it in 2 videos this year, and so clearly it had a powerful effect on her. I'm hoping that if I read it, I'll feel the way I did when I finished Zora Neale Hurston's Their Eyes Were Watching God. I mean, I just left that novel wishing that I'd known about the author years ago. You know, I wish I'd learned about Booktube years ago. Why don't I just say that? It would have taken care of my ignorance problem. Oh, Parable of the Sower is a dystopian science fiction novel where one woman acts on her own personal vision to improve the world that she's in. I'd like to work some science fiction into my reading. I don't want to become an expert or anything, but I want to be able to say that I've read the titles that matter. And Ariana was adamant that whether you read science fiction or not, you need to read Octavia Butler. So that's decided it. And finally, Lucy by the Sea by Elizabeth Strout. Priscilla at The Evening Reader read this book in September, and then she read it again in December. And naturally, I thought, wow, there must be something about this book. Strout was another author I'd never read. I checked out, though, some of the 15,000 Amazon ratings for Lucy by the Sea, and they averaged 4.5 stars out of 5. The impression I got from Priscilla was that it'd be better to go back and read Strout's earlier novels first, just because some of her characters make repeat appearances throughout the books. And by the way, my birthday is in January. As part of my Read What You Own challenge, I did give myself a get out. I gave myself permission to purchase 4 books sometime during the 12 months. And I'm thinking one of these 4 is going to be an Elizabeth Strout novel. There you go, Priscilla. I won't edit that out, just so that you know that I goof up. I will probably choose her first book, which is Amy and Isabel. That was published in 1998. Shows how behind I am. And that way my review can be useful for anybody else who wants to start their own Elizabeth Strout journey. Okay, that's my list, or some of my list. If I were to tell you the truth, during December I added 30 books to my Amazon wish list, yeah. But I mean, this video would be 6 times longer if I included all of them, and that's not a coffee break, right? And you know, I try to avoid making long videos. My only exception to that is Middlemarch Meditations. And by the way, for those of you that are following them, that's what I'm working on right now. So you can look out for another one of those shortly. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and good luck, everyone, with your 2024 reading goals. Take care. Bye-bye.